Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Full Blast Garage. On this one, we're gonna try and make the old Mustang run a little better, be a little bit more original-ish. I don't know. We're gonna put it on full blast. Make sure you do it on full blast. All right, if you guys haven't seen, this is one of our new projects. It's a 65 Mustang, and I'll get a little bit better view of it, here later where you can look around and see what it looks like. But at some point, someone changed the one-barrel carb from the factory looking one-barrel carb, and now the air cleaner won't go on. The actual choke system has nothing to operate it. So I'm going back with the actual factory style with the hot air tube choke. And I'm hoping this kind of solves some of our issues. And also, this guy has this base plate looking thing and one of the studs is gone. So the carb's only held on with one bolt. So it idles shaky. Like you can feel it in the car when you gas it a little. Smooths completely out. I'm thinking we got a vacuum leak under that carb due to the fact that, we only got one bolt holding it on. So I think we fixed that. Put a new base plate on because I think we got a broken stud or strip or something. Just bought this just to have it. We hook up a hot air tube for the choke, and that's gonna take some figuring out for me because I don't know exactly how things went. And then as I'm pulling it in, I'm smelling some gas. I don't know what's going on. Park it, look, fuel pumps, leaking gas out the front. So, like right up against the block. And if you guys ever run into this on your ride, take action immediately. Not only is it a fire hazard, but that gas is gonna go into your oil. And your oil will start to thin. And what'll happen is it'll thin out enough where you might wipe a bearing or something completely. And your engine will start knocking, and it's from the oil getting so thinned out by the gas. You're not just immediately fixing the problem. So that's a big deal, and if you see that on your ride, replace the fuel pump. The diaphragm or a seal or something inside there has gotten a puncture, and gas is getting through to the other side where it's not supposed to. It's just supposed to pump up to the carb. So if you guys run into that, fix it, and you can see me do that on this 65 here. As soon as O'Reilly's gets it, in stock it, I don't know. I think they told me a couple hours they'll have it. So not too bad a deal. But let's go ahead, jump in, start pulling all this junk that's on there off. Well, if you've never worked on one of these old Fords, it's kind of nice. Pretty much everything's held on with 1/2 inch. Oh. I'm gonna grab a paper towel here. Don't need fuel running everywhere. So we're cracking our fuel inlet. Now it's just dripping further away from where I placed the paper towel. If y'all didn't see that. Man, this thing has a lot of pressure. All right. Hopefully our fuel inlet lines up somewhere close to where we were. And if you don't remember, there's only one stud holding the carb on. Oh, and that's 7/16. Let me grab that. Shop's gonna smell like gas today. Yeah, this carb was just floppy. I'm sure, 100% sure, our choppy idle, vibrating idle is because this thing only had one stud in it. I'd rather have the factory setup anyways here. Not tossing any hardware yet, just in case we run into some sort of fitment issue or something like that. We can always put stuff back the way it was and reverse it out of the garage. I'm gonna pull the linkage. And this, you just kind of need to pry it off this ball. She'll drop down. There's our one stud carb there. I mean, it's not broken, this thing. It's just, I don't think anybody put the stud back in it. Might just save on our new one. Not wanting to thread in. That might have been the issue. See if I can clean these threads out. All right, so got our other stud threaded in. I had to shave that guy down just a hair, take off, I don't know, 3/8 of an inch. There we go. I think our fuel inlet will work. A little surprised. I think it will. But I do need to find a vacuum. There is no vacuum port to attach to. So there is one on the little base plate here. Right here, there's a vacuum port. And I'm gonna have to see if I got enough fittings. Well, maybe this comes with it for a reason. Grab a smaller wrench here. All right, got the fuel fitting screwed in to the carburetor. Just gonna go ahead and tighten down the base nuts here. I got them hand tight. I'll go ahead and snug these guys down before we're torquing on the fuel line. Bet she's gonna run 100 times smoother, but we're definitely gonna have to figure out our vacuum line situation. All right, we'll go ahead and screw our fuel line back on. We don't need to put any kind of thread sealant or anything on that. It's a flare. So the actual tube nut pushes that flare in, and that's what makes the seal. And if it's been bent kind of weird like what this one has, you're gonna need to kind of articulate it as you screw the nut in, just so it doesn't bind. Well, that one got pretty much all the way in, hand tight. Pretty good. And you definitely want to put some torque on your fuel lines. Don't go crazy and break anything, but don't be shy. So now, when I go get that fuel pump, I'm gonna need to also grab a vacuum fitting, because that one vacuum line, so I have the base plate here, the new one that I didn't use. So there's a vacuum fitting here. I'm gonna have to get one for that. That's like, it's either 3/8 or 1/2 inch, and I'll have to go to like a small nipple for a vacuum line. Not a lot of options on this car for vacuum lines, like none. Well, I wonder, no. So we have a vacuum fitting here, but we'd have to tee it off. Don't want to do that. There's one vacuum fitting on the manifold. We're gonna have to just get vacuum from that base plate. We can go ahead and snap our arm back on here. Maybe. Hands are a little slippery from all the gas on them. That's nice. So let's see what we need to do for the choke. I have never ever installed a universal heater tube choke like this in a car. I honestly don't even see, other than the one spot, where you would thread it into. So that goes there, right? Yes. So that threads on there. Now where in the world do we get hot air from? Do we just press it into this hole? No. Let me Google on this for a minute. So, it's a wild guess, but there is a hole that one of these fittings loosely fits in the top of the exhaust manifold. I think that's all we need for heat. I'm gonna kind of RTV it in like high temp, but it doesn't have to be a sealed really fitting. It just needs to transfer heat from there to the choke. That's it. And I think that's where you hook it up, or at least that's what I'm gonna call it. So let me get that guy run and I'll show you what it looks like when we're finished. All right, so we got our little ferrule connector on our tube. We're gonna go ahead and install our tube down there into our exhaust manifold and see if we can kind of get this guy bent into shape. Ooh, maybe not. Okay, maybe try that again. Let's go up top first. And again, this is not any kind of critical seal. This is literally a tube carrying warm air from the vicinity of the exhaust manifold up here to your choke. Go ahead and just snug it up. One of these wrenches will fit eventually. All right, that should be good. We're in, we got a hot air choke tube. I need to run and get us a fitting for our vacuum advance. Vacuum advance on this car is crucial. Like the whole spark, everything runs off vacuum. So gotta have vacuum hooked up on these cars. Well, after a quick examination of the carburetor, realized I'd gone wrong. So there is a vacuum port, because that's what I hooked the fuel up to. Oh, just not paying attention. So the fuel inlet is in the front of this carb, if anybody's wondering. Yep. Total professional. I think I'll be able to squeeze my vacuum line over. Then we won't have to buy a new fitting. But I just kind of got to work on getting our fuel line lined up in the front. That's might be challenging, 'cause this thing's been bent up quite a few times. All right, we'll call that good. All right. Fuel line on. Then we'll see if we can make it bust off just a little bit. And then we'll put on a new fuel pump. All right, let's see if she'll start. Little rough. Got some throttle response. Oh, need to idle her up a little bit. Are there any choke adjustments? Maybe not just yet. Well, that line is hot. The choke should start opening up soon. Dang it. set the choke. It's way off where it would have never opened the blade all the way. Now I'm just trying to set the high idle. Man, she's kind of running like a sewing machine. Let's see what our air fuel screw does. She didn't like that. That was leaning it out. And it's so nice on these cars, you can kind of turn it. You'll see immediately how the engine reacts. And you're good. Does it have enough juice at that idle speed when we put it in reverse? She's gonna need a little more idle speed. Maybe just a tiny bit more. How's the restart? Immediate. I'm gonna dial in a tiny more bit. Idle speed. See what it feels like. Home free. Carb is dialed. Fuel pump, which somehow stopped leaking. But there's still some there. You should replace it. All right, one more. Kill it, restart. Wow. What an amazing car for 1965. The thing just jumps to start and wants to go. So now I need to go to O'Reilly's, pick up a fuel pump, and then we're just about there. Do a little test drive action with our new Carb. Sure, we got 100 more horsepower with that sucker. Nope. If anything, probably less. That other one was probably a better design, but wasn't right for this car. Ooh, get our air filter on. Let everybody know we got 200 cubic inches. I don't know exactly how this thing goes. Does it go sideways? Probably. Well, we just point her towards the front, get the most cold air. All right, back from a trip to O'Reilly's. And I'll show you guys the fuel pump they gave me. Oop, might need a back. Nope. She looks like she's pre-used. That's always nice. Hopefully somebody just installed it and then realized, why am I doing this? Why am I putting a fuel pump on this crappy old motor? And then they just uninstalled it and took it back. That's the dream. The reality could be, man, this fuel pump don't work. Let's just return it. And no one ever said it was defective. We'll see. All right. Need a flathead for the return. I mean, these things are as simple as it gets here. So we got our return and our feed off. And I believe maybe I can get this in here. Just a couple half-inch. Couple half-inch bolts, we can pull her out. Oh, has this one got some weird spacing? There we go. We're up against the shock tower there. All right, so something was definitely wrong with this guy. Don't 100% know yet. But we were getting gasoline into the crankcase. I'm gonna grab a razor blade, clean up our gasket surface, and we'll start mounting the new from O'Reilly's fuel pump. All right, well, let's see how she goes on. Haven't done one of these motors specifically ever, but like small block Chevy, sometimes you got to roll the motor over if you're in kind of a bad spot on the fuel pump. I think we might be okay. There's a little, I don't know what you call it, a cam that presses up against the arm of this fuel pump, and if it's too high up, you're not really going to be able to install your fuel pump. Might be able to muscle this guy down. We'll see. No. All right. I'm gonna tap on the starter, just get it going down. All right. So fuel pump, spun the motor over a little bit, got it on our inlet and outlet. That is not a return, I said earlier. One's an inlet, one's the outlet. That's it. You can tell I don't ever work on anything like this. But now I looked to see if there was any way you could spin this or clock it differently, and I don't see a way. I mean, there's this ring that clamps this, and there's no screws or anything to loosen anything. And I'm scared to put enough torque on that to be able to move it. So I guess we got to bend our fuel line around. I don't know. But it's definitely not in the optimum position. All right, got the fuel line bent around. I tried to figure out if you could reclock this thing using the old one, and I was putting way too much force on it to be comfortable doing that to a new one. I think you just got to roll with it, whatever they send you. I mean, maybe there are other ones that are adjustable, but I just don't see anything that you can take apart easy enough to make it work. Okay, everything's tight on there. Let's look, see if it'll start now. Will the fuel pump start pumping? Hasn't yet. I think we're almost there. Still messing with the high idle. Oh, there's no more fuel leaking, and the fuel pump works. It's clocked wrong, which is kind of unfortunate, but oh well. Not a real easy way to spin on the old high idle. See if that helped any. like I got the idle licked. It's sounding pretty good. Not leaking any fuel or oil from what I can see. Let's take it out on a rip, see how it does. No more fuel smell. Seems to be rolling along easy enough. Yeah, I think we might have had a failing fuel pump the whole time. Definitely seems to be running a lot better. Just smooth as sailing. Throttle response is better. I just think this carb in general is probably a better carb meant for this car. Well, so far so good. Brakes on this thing, I mean, they remind you why everyone has power brakes. Four drum. Oh, man, she just died. All right, we're running. We're running. Don't die on me. Not until we get it back to the house, please. And that's common on stuff like this with a carb. Normally takes putting a little heat into the motor before it wants to run optimal. And it is like summertime out here right now already. It's like 85 degrees, beginning of March. We got pedal. Oh, no power steering. Oh, one-handed, no power steering. Oh, wrestling. Oh yeah, she's, oh, man, it died again. Might still have some tuning gremlins, but I think we're okay. I mean, I think for what we got in the car, she's pretty good. I just got insurance on her, so we are street legal. Got to keep my 1965 Texas plate. That's kind of a cool thing you can do. As long as it's black and white, 19 Texas 65, golden, you can keep it. Oh. She died again. Come on now. She might need fuel. Oh gosh. Just get me home. I think we need gas. We're getting low. Woo! This coaster. We'll be back at the shop in just a second. Well, that's gonna be it for this episode of Full Blast Garage. We got carb, fuel pump. I think the carb's tuned enough. I put a couple gallons of gas in it and that seemed to help it a little bit. I might drive it actually and fill it up and just see, you know, on that longer road trip, if we have any dying issues, then I probably need to do something. It's either that used fuel pump or I kinked the metal line somewhere trying to bend it. I mean, there was a tight bend already and I might have made it worse. I don't know, but if that is, I'll just leave the fittings in. We'll chop off some of the metal line and we'll run rubber 5/16 and just call it a day. I don't think there's actually probably metal line that's made, you'd have to do it yourself, that has that exact bend in it, because this fuel pump doesn't have the inlet and outlet in the right spot. And I don't know, maybe you can move those around, but man, I twisted on the old one and it didn't want to move. So I was thinking maybe that housing would twist with that ring on it, but I don't know, maybe it was froze up, or maybe y'all know something I don't. But this guy was definitely in a different location. But I think we're just about done with all the maintenance on this one. She definitely needs power brakes to be real safe, but it's drivable. Just take it out and enjoy it. That's what we're gonna do. But I appreciate everyone watching the videos. And if you could, man, just take 1 second to like, comment, subscribe. Any interaction with the channel helps us a ton, man. The interactions tell the algorithm to put the videos in front of more eyes, and we're a small channel and we're hoping to grow, so that helps us and we appreciate it. But until you see my next video, just go out, do something that makes you happy, but make sure you're doing it on full blast. I'll see y'all later.